What's up, Pixels? It's Pixel Pioneer here. I've always been fascinated by biology, and recently I stumbled upon some videos where people created their own miniature ecosystems. Now, I wanted to do this as well. However, I don't have the animals nor the patience for it. Fortunately, I still have Minecraft. We start off simple by placing some prey animals like deers and rabbits here and there. I also introduced a few snails. These would be great for enriching the soil and keeping the vegetation under control. Another creature I added was a caterpillar. These served as a food source, and they would brighten the terrarium when they transformed into beautiful butterflies. After thinking for a while, I decided I was going to add different species of birds, but only a pair of each type so that the skies weren't overly crowded. The butterflies also needed some room after all. Meanwhile, some caterpillars decided it was already time to rest in their cocoons. Because of an irritating glitch, most of the rabbits for some reason really enjoyed eating this dirt. Luckily, I helped by giving them a literal push in the right direction. The ecosystem was already looking vibrant and lively. However, the pond already appeared a little empty. Unless you counted the various tropical fish that were already there. I added some basic cod and salmon. I finally had the time to look at what I had already built, and things were looking fantastic. Most mobs were busily exploring the new environment and interacting with one another. Deer looked majestic with their large antlers, while the snails were adorable as always. It seemed like they were already doing their job perfectly. The birds were also an excellent addition, since they already brought some color to the skies before the butterflies even arrived. As the sun was setting, I realized day 1 was coming to an end, and so did the animals. Most were now settled into their new habitat, which they would from now on call home. Rise and shine, mobs, the early bird gets the worm, even if you're not a bird. Luckily, every mob survived the first night. The sky looked clear in the morning, but that changed rather quickly. The sunny weather we just had moments ago turned into a thunderstorm. This didn't stop me from adding more animals to the ecosystem though. On day 1 I added mostly creatures from the naturalist mode, and on day 2 I was going to bring in some vanilla mobs like chickens. I also introduced a few flocks of sheep here and there. These could graze on this beautiful land. So far, I had only added prey since the start of the video. That's why I introduced a small pack of wolves on the opposite side of the island. This way, the prey could first settle in and search for potential escape routes if they would ever be attacked. Not long after, the wolves are already hunting. They had spotted their first sheep and were relentless. All while it was pouring rain and thundering, the sheep were being mercilessly slaughtered by the wolves, and there was nothing they could do except run for their lives. I decided I could only add to the chaos. So, to make the ecosystem even more realistic, I made sure the thunderstorm affected the terrarium too. I even started a small controlled fire for dramatic effect. After the rampage the wolves went on, not many sheep remained. However, as luck would have it, the first cocoon decided to hatch right then and there, and out of it came an absolute beauty of a butterfly. This was a sign of hope for the vivarium. It seems like a new kind of coalition was forming. The wolves are friendly with the deer, snails and chickens, and appeared to enjoy their company. Speaking of coalitions, another was formed, the Bird Coalition. The Bird Coalition in this tree was now officially a thing. Every bird had migrated to this particular tree with its small pond, of course. The fish were also busy existing. Our ecosystem had gone through its first of many purges. The sky eventually cleared, the chaos simmered down. Speaking of the sky, I still can't get over this gorgeous butterfly. It's truly an early riser. The Wolf Coalition seemed to be doing quite well. The wolves appeared determined to protect the deer and others. The snails also enjoyed climbing trees more than actually tidying up the ground. Behold, one of the two survivors of the Great Wolf Massacre. During that massacre, a lot of bunnies were wiped out too. Now, you will see how kind-hearted I really am by rescuing the sheep. Okay, maybe not. I think he prefers water. You can tell I actually became obsessed with the butterfly. Here we see the other survivor, unbothered and thriving. I wish I had that mindset. The birds were busy building their nests and bathing, of course. As you can see, the hole had claimed its first victim, an unsuspecting chicken that will be trapped here forever. I think the slug identifies as a caterpillar. And with that, day 2 was coming to an end. We closed this day by admiring our jaw-dropping butterfly. God, I love this stunning creature. While this day may be officially over, my work isn't exactly finished yet. After that whole genocide thing, someone had to clean up this mess. And it certainly wasn't going to be the Wolfpack. Lazy bastards. While I was calmly scrolling through my inventory, this damn beast suddenly decided he didn't want any survivors at all and killed another sheep. Haven't you had enough? Meanwhile, I was completely clueless. Luckily, it was quickly dealt with after I noticed it. Anyway, day 3 is officially here. I can't believe we made it this far without complete chaos. Although we came pretty close on day 2, day 3 starts by adding some more prey like cows and pigs. We gotta keep that vivarium fat, baby. Well, then that's enough prey. Now for a predator. You guessed it, a massive grizzly bear. And some ducks too, of course. Ducks are actually more dangerous than a bear. They might look cute, but before you know it, bam! And your entire household is without bread. What a shame. As you can see, the duck wasn't even intimidated by the bear and stared it down confidently. The pit of despair now had a population of 3. It seemed like the cows and pigs didn't mind joining the Wolfpack coalition. The cocoons looked like they could burst open at any given moment. It seemed like this duck was fascinated by the snail in the tree, while another duck just really enjoyed his fun. Meanwhile, The bird coalition grew stronger with their newest member. Just kidding, he was only taking a bath and exploring his new territory. This snail noticed how much attention the butterfly was getting, and I suppose he felt a little jealous. Don't worry, I like snails too. The bear decided it had done enough for today and took an afternoon nap. On the other side of the island, something spectacular had happened. Another butterfly had hatched, and this one was blue. Such a breathtaking creature. After a long struggle, the pig had drowned. May he rest in peace, for he fought bravely until the end. The ducks seemed relaxed around every mob and weren't afraid to explore new territory. This coalition was now by far the largest and most powerful on the island. This cocoon still needed more time to develop. After all, Rome wasn't built in a day. Eventually, I had time to reflect on my terrarium and realized things are going really well. Everyone seemed to get along with each other. The ducks kind of acted like peacekeepers between the Wolfpack coalition and the bird coalition. The bear was still sleeping. What a cutie. Let's dive down into the underwater world and have a look at the lone tropical fish and salmon. Most had been eaten by now or had gotten lost in the sprawling tunnel network. These ducks shared a romantic moment here. Another butterfly. Yes! This one had a different color. Brownish, yellow, maybe slightly greenish. I don't know, I'm half colorblind, so I can't say for sure. But anyway, butterfly! After this heartwarming moment, the sun began to set. Day 3 had been calm and peaceful, and there was absolutely nothing that could change that. Absolutely nothing. Except this sleeping cutie wasn't sleeping anymore, and he wasn't so cute anymore either. He even looked ready to attack me at any moment. And suddenly he leapt into action. He had sniffed something. It was an unsuspecting deer that quickly ran away. It tried using the tree as cover, but it was no match for the bear. He immediately began eating the deer's meat. At least he doesn't waste it, wolves. The grizzly wasn't finished yet, and would move for anything. He simply didn't care that the deer were under wolf protection. The wolves could only watch helplessly from the sidelines, since they were no match for this terrifying beast. It was down to one of the last deer. The prey that had survived since day 1 was now under heavy assault. Even I had to hide in the bushes. And then he spotted the final survivor. The deer was killed in the blink of an eye. It seemed like he took more time with his meal than the others, because he realized that now he could only survive on smaller prey or less appetizing meals. After he had finished devouring his last seasoned meal, he stood there in complete silence, contemplating his life in the pitch black darkness of the night. After reflecting for a bit, he quietly went to sleep and was back to being our sleeping beauty. To add some brightness to this tragic and gloomy night, I released some fireflies. They are fascinating little creatures, and I have yet to see them in person, but it's definitely one of the things on my bucket list. In just a few moments, the entire terrarium glowed with a beautiful sparkling light. I was curious whether they would join the bird coalition or remain neutral like the ducks and butterflies. Rise and shine, everyone! It's the final day. The ducks were enjoying their morning bath, and so were the chickens apparently. Oh well, I suppose everyone wants to look nice for the last day. However, we weren't done adding creatures. Things were a little quiet after last night, so I introduced some dragonflies. These are very skilled hunters, with a capture rate of 90 to 97%. That's an absolutely insane figure. For comparison, Lion's hunt success rate is about 20%, give or take. It's higher when they are in a pride or group, and lower when alone. I also placed some frogs here and there since it was somewhat a swampy terrain, not fully though, but you get the idea. While the dragonflies were excellent predators, they were no match for a single hungry frog. They were completely swallowed in one greedy bite. Look at that frog swim, and then casually swallow the water as if nothing had happened, so nonchalant. That's a true apex predator right there. I decided to release more dragonflies in other areas, so they weren't entirely at the mercy of the frogs. After suffering long enough, it was time to put the chickens in more misery and release a fox among them. He quickly helped them get to the other side, if you know what I mean. Now, he was trapped in the pit of despair. I also placed another fox at random. At first I thought this fox would immediately attack the ducks and birds, but it was just after the duck sack apparently. What a greedy mob. Suddenly I was completely stunned by this massive leap on this frog. I didn't know they could do that. The fox began exploring his new territory. He wasn't really in a hunting mode since he had already found an egg, but he was simply just curious. It also seemed like the dragonflies were coded realistically, since flies in my room do the exact same thing when they can't find a way out. The fox was already searching for his next snack. He wanted something a little more exotic than an egg, and set his sights on the tropical fish. He didn't even finish his egg, so ungrateful man, and wasteful. The skies are now looking stunning with all the added creatures, a complete change from the empty skies of day one. On the last day, the Wolfpack coalition was still holding strong, despite going through traumatic events. frogs are also eager to explore their surroundings. This one even stumbled upon the grizzly. I think the dragonflies still don't understand the concept of glass. Meanwhile, the fox still hadn't had enough. He had now fixed his eyes on the last remaining salmon. He was patient, tracking its every move. I'm really happy with how the butterflies turned out. The bird coalition was spectacular too. They were always unbothered by the chaos on the other side of the island. They were just relaxing by their little pond. The ducks also enjoyed the ponds, and this one even found a nice little spot. The fox was still in hiding. It seemed like he would never give up or back down. I feel somewhat responsible for the death of the salmon since it bumped into me, causing it to surface, but yeah, once that, there's another regret. After this final hunt, the sun of the last day began to set. It was time to admire the terrarium I had created over 4 long days. Even the grizzly bear showed up for the finale, and then one of the foxes suddenly appeared and quickly triggered another night of chaos. Why can't we have one peaceful night? However, the Wolfpack coalition wouldn't let it slide this time. They had been attacked often, but this was a drop that made the bucket overflow. He chased the fox relentlessly, even though the fox could easily outrun him. The wolf refused to give up. This went on and on for a long time. Even the bear came to watch when he heard the commotion. Then the other fox appeared, scavenging for leftover chicken. Will the wolf catch the foxes? We'll never know. But what I do know is that I built a pretty amazing terrarium. Subscribing would mean a lot. Pixel Pioneer over and out.